Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We hope that the day's finding you a little bit more, relaxed. Hopefully, you guys have all just worn yourself down.
Start the sound loop.
Start the sound loop.
Yep.
Begin sound loop. But, no, it's Halloween night. Hopefully, everyone's had a decent time of it all. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We hope that the day's finding you a little bit more, relaxed. Hopefully, you guys have all just worn
There's the
yourself
sound
down.
loop.
It's not the sound loop.
Sound loop.
Start the sound loop.
Yep.
Begin sound loop. But, alright, so what we're going to be doing now, and it's going to be a little bit of, a tradition. Starts off. Every year I watch this film.
Okay.
Every year. And now we're going to start it right now. This is a big part of my yearly tradition of Halloween. So here we are. Yay, everybody's got the glowy stuff going on. This is Nosferatu. This is something that...
Oh, it's going right now.
Oh yeah, it's completely going. This is a movie that... Oh, let's see if we can jigger that back.
Because there was no sound?
No, not because there was no sound. But because what we wanted was, I guess, more of a classical Halloween take. And we don't get that these days.
Not a lot.
This year, we were used to dealing with Halloween, I guess, on a very limited basis.
Oh, yeah.
Completely limited. When you work with what we do as jobs and whatnot.
How long is this guy going to look at his mouth and just, stretch? I swear this is the same thing.
It's the same thing, but we're also, during a silent film, going to ask for sound levels, and Mark is going to be our guiding star. Because, honestly, we need him. We need you in the worst way, Mark. So you can see this film is...
Just shot in a real castle.
Real castle. Real castle in a way that a lot of films don't get nowadays. We got our big bowl of candy here, too. Yep. So encourage everyone to dive in. Boots first.
My darling, dearest. No, do not be toothed.
Do not be toothed.
That your beloved is far away. Okay.
Yeah. What? Where? This is a classic. This is Nosferatu, filmed in 1922.
The mosquitoes are a terrible nuisance. Two just bit me on the neck. Side by side, very close together.
I prefer the turbo nuisance that you brought up. It's one of the biggest hack jobs ever in cinema history, and it's one of the earliest. Basically, they stole the rights to Bram Stoker's Dracula and just decided to make a movie without paying them or honoring them until much later. And yeah, we're going to check in on Mark, hoping our levels are all right. It's about equal. Okay, so we'll knock the video down a little bit. Take that down about 30%. And hopefully that's enough. Mark, you can
It's
let
one
us
tiny
know.
horse.
They're all tiny horses. It's about equal. Okay, so we'll knock the video down.
You there. I was just standing right by you.
Take that down about
Peaceful
30%.
music. Oh, wait, no.
But this is, Alan is more versed in I guess you would call Dracula lower than I am. Not by a huge sum.
Yeah, but I don't make it my business to.
But it's enough to make most men wither at his intelligence.
You're setting me up for a big fall, I think.
Well, yes, that's the whole point of it.
Look at this guy here.
Look at this glorious asshole.
I love this depiction of the vampire. It's more like a rat creature than something.
Yeah, it's the idea that they're almost verminous.
That's what Nosferatu means. Was it the unclean?
Yeah, the unclean.
Something like
right. In general, a lot of people have a hard time looking at vampires nowadays as anything but glittering assholes.
Your wife has a lovely neck. Your wife has a lovely neck.
Oh,
great, a neck man.
Yeah, Mark points out the obvious. In a silent movie, there's no dialogue to interrupt, so the levels are good no matter what.
They should have called this movie instead of like Nosferatu, My New Neighbor.
My new neighbor.
At night, that same Nosferatu digs his claws into his victims and suckles himself on what hellish elixir.
Hellish elixir from beyond. Beware that his shadow Borg not engulf. Oh, does not engulf you like a demonic nightmare. This is a version which was cleaned up by a wonderful website that I talked to, and they helped me find a good copy of it. And this is probably the cleanest version of Nosferatu I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the YouTube channel is kind of dead, but the guy still has a passionate. It's one of his mission statements. Is he wants to take these old movies and make them look as good as possible. And if you search on Google Play or YouTube for just classics, this guy does wonderful work restoring old movies. And kudos to him for helping out. This is one of those things that I just wish more people would do, is give a crap about something you like and push it. And in this case, he likes creepy old guys living in castles. Look at him go. And we're making light of this, but this is absolutely terrifying stuff. This is at that very moment. His wife.
That's his wife?
Well, it's Hutter's wife. The approximation of Jonathan Harker.
That's a serious pipe. It's as big as a cane.
Yeah, smoking like a chimney over there. But the Dracula myth, enlighten us a little bit more as to how this all began. If you can.
No. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
I'm not going to be saying anything new. There's nothing new.
But the ideas that come through with vampire mythology are, I'd say they're more steeped in not necessarily cautionary tales, but you should never carouse with strangers. You should never deal with people that are from other countries. Jeez. That's kind of the warning that was given at this point. Like, this guy wants to buy real estate in the big city, and he's from a rural township in the middle of nowhere, and everyone should fear him. And it's not xenophobia, but it's along certain lines that really make you question where these people's heads were at. Hutter!
I really love the shadow work in this.
It's the scene iconic. Is, when it comes, you'll know it when you see it. When you see it, you'll realize where it's from. The makeup work in this still is damn creepy. This guy would win Halloween contests from here till, the end of the decade with that getup. Just acting the way he does too. And thus he leaves.
I know how he did that shot. He tied a thick rope around his waist to the end of the doorknob, and he just pulled it as he walked.
Just kept walking into it. A thick rope, like 30-pound rope.
You mean like an aneurysm? Like a blood clot?
The doctor described Ellen's anxiety as some sort of unknown illness, but I know that on that night her soul heard the call of the death bird. Nosferatu was already spreading his wings. At dawn, Hutter set out to investigate the horrors of the previous nights. So essentially, this guy aspires to be some sort of paranormal expert, at the very least get to the root of this, as any man would if their wife came down with a mysterious affliction. My neck.
You know, one of the things about this movie is it got something of a sequel or a behind-the-scenes thing a few years ago with a movie called Shadow of the Vampire, starring Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe and what's his face? Keep forgetting.
Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes is in there.
But they made the movie based on that this thing we're seeing right now is completely real. That they
the vampire.
Count
Orlok
found
was true.
A real vampire, and it's kind of like a behind-the-scenes thing, you know. It was
I
love
love that movie.
It was pretty cool.
I liked it because you and I are kind of both a fan of musing on revisionist history and such like that. And to have a movie do that so completely in the vein of, we always talk about, well, what if this situation were real?
It's kind of funny. It's like he flips open the lid, and here's how you kill a vampire: you punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face. You put thine arm around thine neck and squeeze. Man, this is a good version. I've watched some crap versions of Nosferatu, to the point where the edges of the screen are bleeding heavily in black. Okay.
Don't mess with that guy. That guy's... Well, he's a vampire. There he is.
What's this Speedy Gonzalez shit going on here? Look at him go. What you need... What you need is a union tough coming in and saying, hey, we work by the hour here. Don't make us look bad. Time to put on my nightgown. Oh. That's one heck of an escape.
He looks down and he's still like 80 feet above ground, and he's like, oh, now I gotta use my arm strength to get back up, and I don't have any. Time for another faint.
Yeah.
Swoon.
As men were wont to do back in the era.
Yeah, and he's just gonna wake up there at night.
By the way, Al, what are you sipping on?
I am sipping on Hobgoblin, traditionally crafted Hobgoblin beer.
Hobgoblin beer? Yeah, we went out to the local liquor depository trying to find something to get in the mood. This year is probably a more disappointing crop than most.
Maybe.
It was always like pumpkin ale. You know, I think that's definitely one element, especially with all the people having parties of certain types where you just either drinking nonstop or you want a couple to flavor the evening. Me, it's just whiskey and ginger ale. Guess when he'd fallen, he still has a feeling. Rats. He's not wrong. Nosferatu was coming. Danger was on its way to this board.
Is there a Celsian?
I knew what that term used to mean way long ago. Not so much anymore. Caskets filled with dirt were loaded onto the double-masted schooner, the
Schooner McSchooner face.
Schooner McSchooner face. I don't recall this movie this way. I think there's part of me that believes this movie's already halfway through. It just I don't recall it happening this quickly. But we may need to restart something, but we're going to check in on Mark first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, John Malkovich. I keep forgetting that guy's name. But yeah, Shadow of the Vampire. I definitely recommend people give a look. It's a strange comedy.
It's not comedy.
It's dark comedy.
No.
I think so. I found more than a few scenes I got some laughs out of. Smarties. The one thing that, I guess it's a sign of the times in these films, but there goes Dracula.
Yep. Get this Dracula off my dock.
That's one thing I like about him, and it's not highlighted enough in modern film, is that, like, vampires. Oh, he's going to town on these things. Professor Bulwer was teaching his students about the dreadful methods of carnivorous plants. One viewed with horror the mysterious workings of nature. So, Professor Bulwer is the proxy for Van Helsing.
Yep.
And a man who just loved transfusions.
That was the latest thing back then.
Yeah, that was the greatest medical cure. Is if you're sick, your blood is sick. So let's switch your blood out. And in a way, they're not wrong. But they're also not right in a completely more correct way.
I didn't know about things like blood types and stuff like that, so sometimes transfusion works, sometimes it doesn't.
I'd assume at a certain point, like if this is still a story
like
to
template.
Nope. No. This is a story of a time that's still like 150 years previous, right? Like even if they're filming in 1922. So back then, I think blood typing wouldn't have been as much an issue. People would have stayed kind of in their same group of people, right? Nowadays, we could travel across the world in a matter of 12 hours and set up new lives and whatnot. Yeah, blood typing is more important. Huh. Doesn't seem like he buys into it. Or he's just waiting for him to follow along very slowly.
Well, that guy's seen some stuff.
Dad? Can't deny it. Just supply it. It's Danny DeVito. That's where in the new movie I find it odd that they chose Tom Waits to play him. Could have been Danny DeVito. By the way, I think that's the only character that retained the same name.
What, Renfield?
Yeah. From Bram Stoker's Dracula to this movie.
A polyp with tentacles, okay.
Looks like marzipan. Now it looks like a swan. So this is, I guess, the first real moment where people started to understand germs.
Yeah.
Little more than a phantom. It always reminds me of that scene in 12 Monkeys. When Brad Pitt's talking about the discovery of germs and how people disbelieved it at the time. And they talked about how you had to take on faith that people using these things called microscopes could, view something like that and say, yes, this is what makes you sick. Oh, that's a bunch of cod swallow. So in a lot of ways, I guess a film like this is bringing to light the idea that there are some things that are unseen that aren't ghosts. Her eyes scanned the waves and the horizon as she pined for her beloved. There's a few good title cards in this movie that I really enjoy. Yeah. The one about the Land of Phantoms, and Castlevania 2 stole that.
Oh, really?
Like, you remember when they would turn from day to night, and it would be something like the cursed night of phantoms past, or something like that. I forget the exact terminology for such a beloved quote, but there's something there. There's a poetry to a movie like this. I just find it odd that this movie is now almost 100 years old.
That's one of the older movies that is still, with us. Like, it's not the first movie, but it sits up there. It's one of the most popular movies of that time that we got.
Now, in terms of movies that old, and they still endure, and like you can go to,
I almost lost it.
Yeah, there's so many times this film could have just disappeared. But it speaks to the modern culture of wanting to preserve things, that you can actually go to Walmart right now and buy a copy of this film. Like, that's what you call resilience, I suppose. Because despite all the legal problems that they had, and like this movie's now public domain, so you can find it anywhere, even on YouTube. Something that is beloved sticks around, and it doesn't matter of what quality, somebody will always remember something fondly from it. The mosquitoes are...
Yeah, I've already read the letter. I read it when you wrote it.
Well, in case you missed it the first time, second verse, same as the first, a whole lot louder and a whole lot
I like
worse.
that. One dreams deeply. They took it right out the castle.
They gave the last one that we already saw 25 seconds. This new one 5 seconds. It's like, do you want to hear me sing the entire Beatles catalog as fast as possible? Yep. There. What'd you think?
I like jackets like that, but
Ooh, Yes.
The only people that wear them these days are really short. It doesn't do them any favors.
No, and it's always somebody that's, yeah, you're right. It's like they're 5'5",
Yeah.
kind of squat, and on a taller guy, it wouldn't reach the floor. But on
Is
certain
that a
fellas,
dusker length? No, it's a parka.
it's a parka. It's a bomber.
It's a bomber. I love the imagery in this.
I do too. In terms of what you get, this seems very ahead of its time in terms of visuals. A lot of people that used to do movies back then would film on soundstage, and there's no such thing as filming at night. It was impossible. A lot of people said. Well, heck. Also, dealing with horses on set, that was a new thing as well. And there she goes.
I don't know if anyone's actually on that boat. Orlok.
Jeez. That was one swift little move he did. And he's gonna read it right in front of him. Blanche. Varna and Galat. Masses of young people are dying. All victims appear to have the same strange wounds on their necks, the origin of which is still a mystery to doctors. The Dardanelles have been closed to all ships suspected of carrying the Plauge. A lot of people don't know the geography of Eastern Europe. It's kind of a mystery to me still. And I enjoy Eastern Europe. But it's knee-rubbingly interesting. I do remember hearing about people's testimonies about watching this film. And critics of the era.
What did they say?
They said it was stark raving mad.
I mean, like,
That
this is
somebody
like
would...
saying, yeah, man, it's cool.
At the time, it cost so much to make films. And a lot of what was done, was, I guess you could say, was almost more akin to documentary style film. Just capturing things. Why somebody would waste this much money to tell a story that is so preposterous and so unbelievably unbelievable.
I think older than this movie is a movie called The Golem.
Oh, the Golem, yes.
Equally as strange, you know.
It was a sentiment shared with a lot of films of the era that weren't, I guess, pure fiction or pure non-fiction. But I'm glad it existed, and I'm glad it found success in... I'm not sure you'd say in a
Look
cult
at that guy's
fashion.
just vaping away, man.
Sick rips.
Yeah, sick vape rips. Cherry flavored.
Look at him go. This guy's like Darkwing Duck. It's just a cloud.
That guy really knows how to fill a room.
Yeah, let me take your blanket. Oh, put it back on you. Go back to bed. I was already in here. No, dude. Essentially, he just got re-tucked back in. And somebody smoked a pipe while watching. The heck? Oh, okay, I see what I'm looking at now. I thought I saw a guy leading somebody else, and then they had like somebody up on their shoulders like Brock Lesnar in the F5. So, spread like a scourge through the ship. The first sailor that was infected pulled the whole crew down into a dark, watery grave. By the light of the sinking sun, the captain and first mate said goodbye to the last of their comrades. I'm doing that because there's a few of our viewers that can't read. I'm looking at you, Mark.
Kiss me, Captain. What?
Fondle my bundle, Captain. Oh. Well, that's it for Ensign Ricky. Avenge my death. Why 10 minutes? Some parts of this movie still give me pause for concern. Like these men, I guess it's a different time. They're all ready to shed blood in an instant. For better or for worse, these guys play high stakes life. That's not how you open a crate.
Look at the ankle strength.
It's Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. That's how you open a crate.
Captain, we gotta turn the ship around. He's downstairs. I don't see why that would do anything.
Turn the ship around. Go, Simmons. Well, it's time to tie myself a noose.
It'd be awful to make a noose that ties around your waist and it just breaks your back as you drop.
Oh. And his story is, I lashed meself to me steering wheel. Benicio del Toro. First acting gig. The Death Ship had a new captain. That's a nice title card. We're running out of the good stuff. We're down to just like M&M's almost. Act 4.
I wasn't aware that there was acts.
That's where I think we missed the first act. This had to be visionary to some people that had never spent time on a boat. Yes, I do believe we actually missed the first couple parts, and I don't know how. But we'll see it on the come around again. When it comes to vampires, what's your opinion of them? Merciless killers? Apex predators? Misunderstood lovers?
I think they work best as dirty killers. You know, not necessarily something to love or anything like that. This is my favorite version of the vampire because he just looks weird, you know.
Almost like the recluse that had a reason to hide.
Yeah, it's like you didn't see a whole lot of difference after Lugosi came on the scene. until the days of Vampire Clan Bruja.
Yeah, Bruja. Tink. We sowed the seeds of discontent. Vampire Clan Bruja. But yeah, after Lugosi, everything kind of it hit a tone, especially when Universal kind of took over the idea of them owning Dracula. Essentially, it was Christopher Lee, and after Lugosi, the classy elder gentleman. That's kind of how it stayed until
Then for a while it became the katana swinging action hero,
well, Wesley Snipes,
and then
Brad Pitt, and Tom Cruise.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale, who I guess you would consider the last standing vampire. Like, she just had a movie come out this past year.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one that's really still a vampire. As much as she'd done in her other career, her main arc is her being Celine the vampire.
I hate how all vampires are overpowered.
Well, yeah, for the most part, they're untouchable, even if they're dorks or dweebs. Hey, what up? What you got going on out here? Oh. The master is near.
They should put up another title card that says, "Tell my wife, hello."
Okay. Wish is my command. So the ship has reached port. And this is another good shot. I remember living in a basement apartment. That's how I used to come upstairs every time.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. He couldn't overpower you.
He was catching flies out of the air with his bare hand. I guess he can do what he wants.
Can't let the chats up. Captain's a werewolf. Alright, bring it down another 30%. Let's do it. Just for Mark. It's all for Mark.
You know, that's got to be pretty heavy, even if it is just empty and just wood.
Yeah, it's pretty much the equivalent of lifting up a dinner table made of wood that isn't from IKEA. I guess back then they would use pretty heavy stuff like pine. Yeah, that's like I was gonna say earlier. I like the idea that vampires could turn into rats, and usually see bats. Sometimes you see wolves, but rats is another element that is ignored. Like, that used to
Well,
be
the
a
whole thing
thing.
about vampires is that at the time there was like these diseases that we didn't know what the cause is, but they sure as heck knew the symptoms.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to cure it, so there was always like what was actually tuberculosis. What causes this? Well, obviously some sort of demon, some sort of evil spirit causes this.
Yeah.
You know.
So
I don't really dig on that. And in a certain way, I think a vampire is a gun monster that people know about blood diseases and diseases in general, but it's kind of lost its.
They've had their time in the limelight.
It's kind of lost its impact, and that's why they've become lovers. High school lovers.
Well, I think the ultimate form of knowing when a creature's dead is when you start seeing comedy versions of it. And a movie I saw recently, a few months back, was a movie from Australia, I believe, New Zealand, called What We Do in the Shadows, which is a vampire comedy. And it unabashedly just plays up as a pure comedy. At that point, you've experienced everything possible, so that's the last stop for a horror character. And you and I were talking about the nature of some horror movies being too comical.
Well,
or
put it back to
intentionally
the chat for a second.
Yeah, let's have a quick peek.
Yeah. But that's something.
Oh, music is so loud now, I can't really hear you. Ah! No! Mark, we need you back ASAP. How's it sound?
We'll know in a few moments.
Yeah, we're sitting here with bated breath, Mark.
But I think about something like I can't remember the last time I saw a good zombie movie. Like a good zombie movie. And I hate zombie movies, actually. Especially like these days. And that's it's always a disease, it's always an infection. And I'm kind of bored of that, I think my favorite zombie movie of all time is actually Zombie. They call it Zombie 2.
Yeah, zombie without an E at the end.
Yeah. It's when the zombie fights the shark. I like that because it all began with drums off in the jungle.
Yeah.
And the dead are rising from the grave, and it's never exactly told why. And I think it's good because I think in some of these stories you gotta have a supernatural element. It's like once you understand something too much, it loses its fear.
That's a big part of it, is when you break things down to a level where you understand the origin, how it continues, how it perpetuates, and the reasons why. Information can kill a lot of the mystery of horror.
So Zombie 2 was great because we just heard drumming. And
drumming, that's it.
Things started happening,
But that's a big part of supernatural horror in general is don't try to ask too many questions. When you rely on emotion, it's a better payoff for you. Anyhow, Mark's not responding, so obviously he can't hear us. Can't hear us. Can't hear a lick of us. But I've adjusted the levels, so I think our sound is above the movie. So
come to think of it, why do I have this in my ear?
Yeah, let's just take it in. Hell with it. It's just stifling us.
We can't hear the sound anyway.
Yeah, it's we're so worried about the delay of what we sound like that we needed that for feedback, but then we're not getting feedback, so the hell with it. We're doing it live. Rats in the hold of the ship, danger of plague.
So I hope everyone had a pretty good Halloween. Well, as much as you're able to.
Yeah.
That's been kind of almost non-existent for me. We did something at work and stuff like that, but yeah, it just wasn't in the cards this time.
Yeah. It's after last year, like, I think we did a hell of a job.
Yep.
Sometimes in a game you'll hit for, 400 other times. You hit enough just to stay on the team. And I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that because I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to have an out like tonight. Because there's not a lot of...
Throw that cantaloupe?
Oh, there, throw that cantaloupe on me drum. More dogs. Oh.
They get a funny... Like, yeah, okay, it's the town crier and everything like that, but why not work in some sick nightclub music, like drum solo, like doom 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 doom, and see who comes out and dances.
Need that boisterous, sleazy trumpet and trombone player.
Yeah.
Bring out your dead. Made that one disappear. Tuck that into my breast.
Doom 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 doom.
The Eind of Act 4. T.
He didn't even check that one.
No,
He just assumed.
Did you just open the windows from the outside like that? What kind of town is this? Well, that one didn't get the old T. Oh, this one's he's gonna check. Nope. Hutter had made Ellen promise not to touch the book which had caused him to have such frightening visions, but she found its strange force irresistible.
Yeah, it's like when you hear someone. The rumor is there's someone who tells a joke that's so funny you die laughing.
Yeah.
Or you end up in the hospital. I kind of want to hear a super funny joke.
I want to see if my sense of humor is to the level where I will die or I just find it unfunny. Deliverance is possible by no other means than that an innocent maid maketh the vampire heed not the first crowing of the cock. This done by the sacrifice of her own blood. Yeah, when you have an E at the end of it, you have to emphasize the consonant. Let's see what Mark's up to. On the rocks.
Captain Morgan. Okay.
Mark's going hard style. He wants a messy Wednesday. Speaking of which, I'm gonna adjourn to the ice box and gather up more libation.
This is what I look like every night. I look like that building across town.
You can have the gin Ricky or the cream soda.
I think the gin Ricky.
Another.
She's actually really, really beautiful.
Well, even back then, you wouldn't sign up for something like this if you didn't know you were somewhat presentable.
I hope this guy just doesn't like and like flips out back the window or something like that.
Swoons and passes out like
men back in here comes a swoon. He's gonna faint. Go down.
There he goes. On cue.
Yeah. It's so weird. I've never fainted in my life. I've come close, but that was due to heat exhaustion.
Yeah, I've had the same thing, but
I've never like been so like startled by something that I go, you almost have fainted once. I remember when they announced a new game that you were waiting for,
Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3. You heard it, and he grabbed his heart. He was like, ah.
It wasn't that.
I was there. I'll run over quickly and fetch the Seavers?
I read that as I'll run over quickly and fetch sewers. Well, heck.
Wait, I thought he was going to run over quickly. He just went back to bed.
Yeah. He did, but he wasn't there, so screw it. I'm going to bed. And now she's all gussied up again. The heck?
Plague's doing its job.
Well, for 5 people anyways. I guess that's pretty brutal. 5 people a day were taken by the plague in a township that might have 1,000 people. That's like in a year everyone will be dead.
Okay. Make that cock crow.
Of her own blood.
Here's a strange thing about vampires. On Sesame Street, the Count likes to count whatever he can because that was like an old thing that's one of the weaknesses of the vampire. They can't resist counting. So what you would do is you'd spread out mustard seeds like on your porch or something like that, and you have to stop and count every one. And if you left enough, you'll still be counting by sunrise and just be killed.
Or by the time you skip
That's
town.
why they chose a vampire on Sesame Street to be the Count.
That seems like a kind of a strange... I've heard that too. It seems like a strange cultural pull to use a vampire. It'd be funny if to lure them out till daybreak, you left Chocula on the porch. And here comes the madcap chase scene.
Wow, the whole town came out to get this guy.
And this fella, he wasn't a part of the mob, but he wants in. Go, Tom Waits. Spry fella. Threw a raisin down at a man.
They get hit?
Yeah, looks like he took a couple rocks to the head. Yeah, just gave him one of these.
You can stick it, and he's gone.
You can stick it. And he's off. I wish there was a version of Nosferatu in that scene where when he's running around they play yakety sax.
Gotta wait about 70 years.
Yeah, maybe 30. It's an old song.
Oh, is it?
Well, older than you expect. There he goes, Yakety Sax. Wow, he reached the city limits damn fast.
Well, so did they.
This is essentially Floyd wearing that mask. Well, I had a friend in grade school, like very early grade school, like grade 2 or 3, and he brought a mask, and he actually kind of looked like Renfield there.
Huh.
And during recess, he put this mask on. For some reason, it united.
What the hell is that thing?
It united the whole schoolyard to want to chase him. And so I remember.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a scarecrow. Good camera trick. It got us, I suppose.
It's so weird. So weird looking.
So yeah, there was 50, 60 kids chasing this little guy wearing a mad scientist mask across the schoolyard. I should buy a boat. That's one thing, and it's. I'm not making trying to make a joke, but when you're dealing with a vampire, you have restless nights. Like nobody gets a good night's sleep. They kind of haunt your dreams. Do it. Open the window. No. But maybe. Well, I think I'll just make myself available. Beautiful. More swooning. I guess she has reason to, though. No, don't get Bulver. The man's a fraud. The man's a hack. He hasn't done anything. He really hasn't. In this version, anyways. Man, those buildings look rickety. Oh, that's the scene iconic. I feel I must faint.
I always say about characters that if your character has a really good silhouette, you've got a good design.
It's a big part of things. You should be able to identify somebody, like if it's a movie, video game, or piece of artwork, any form. If you can tell that it's them with the barest of influence, That's good design. Yeah, it's very good design. Count Orlok? Yes. Fantastic design.
We got Knock.
The old knock. Well, yeah, I guess that's Renfield's name in this version. There's the cock.
There we go.
First they caught Knock, then the cock. Would you say Renfield is a familiar? Or is he a thrall?
He was just a... No, he wasn't even that. He was just a guy who was being used.
Just completely used?
Yeah. In the book, he was upset that he wasn't given any real power. He was given a glimpse of like life as a vampire, but he was never really like even a protege. He was just like
Jughead to Archie?
He was just a tool.
Oh yeah, if he was never promised anything. Rats! And thus he dies. He was always dead.
He was always dead.
Knock, you fool.
See, that's why we didn't give you the gift.
That's what I proclaim whenever I'm victorious over my slain enemy. Hutter! Oh, and she passed out again. And he passed out on top of her. You're next, old man. When it comes to films like these, how far back do you say you can go and still appreciate things without worrying about context? Would you say you can go all the way back to the 50s?
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies out there.
What are some of your favorite old ones?
Oh, I forget the name of it, but it was an old Robert Mitchum movie where he plays like a drifter who's harassing these two children, and he has the love and hate tattooed on his knuckles.
Oh heck yeah!
What was that one called? I forget. At the end,
the Eind.
Well, that's Nosferatu.
That's Nosferatu. It's looping back through at the start. The Symphony of Horror. Nonetheless, we're gonna check the chat and see who's still sticking around with us. I know Mark's here, getting absolutely trashed. Well, he has a stump of ice in his Captain Morgan now. But yeah, generally that's what I do on a Halloween night. Every year is I watch Nosferatu.
We may as well put it right back on the chat video.
Hmm?
You may as well put it right back on the chat screen.
Oh. Yeah, I have a horrible cough. Yeah, when it comes to Halloween, I keep it very simple. Like, I'm all about Halloween. But I'm also not one of these people that like to really have, I guess, huge party nights.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been kept very low key. Ever since even we started the channel, it's been more of a celebration of you and me enjoying a night more than anything.
Yeah.
But before that, it's always been fairly stripped down. And in a way, that's kind of how I like it. Because I can't... I don't want to rail against Halloween, but modern Halloween, I think is... I think it's a bit overblown. It's not necessarily for us, and it's not necessarily for the kids. I've always believed it's for people that are a little odd. Odd in a fashion that makes them enjoy a night where they can revel in their oddity and their the nature of them being apart from people. And people in this night will try to understand, garner glean something from their mindset. But now there's nothing like that. It's just it's a mishmash of people just dressing up and going to parties. That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But
It's supposed to be a good time.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good time. But the outsider will always still be the outsider. And I'm all right with that, too. Because I think we've always kind of said about this, like, being geeky is more in now than ever.
Yeah.
So, we will have our time. Just like we did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm not sure if we're done with this yet. But, I think all of us need to take a little bit of a break.
Okay.
So how about we adjourn to water closets?
Halloween shows your neighbor's creativity like none other. I agree. I've seen some great lawn displays.
Oh yeah.
Like, I live in a rural area right now, and it's a bigger deal out here than it is in the city.
Yeah, in the city, you'll see people that just like put a couple lawn ornaments up and orange lights.
Yeah.
And out here, I'm hanging out with a brother for tonight. There's some good stuff.
But you mentioned a break.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick little break and hit the little girls' room because we like those little girls.
Oh, jeez.
But we will join you guys back in 5 minutes, maybe to wrap up the evening.
Yep.
So let's get to it. right. So this is us. Turn the volume down on the media source a little bit. So this is us. Ending what I guess what you would call a truncated Halloween.
Truncated?
Truncated. Cut off at the shins, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
You know, circumstances were what they were. We did what we could. We had our candy. We had all of our glow sticks. We're just madness glow sticks. They're all over the place. But we're happy to do this. It was something we always look forward to. We just couldn't deliver as much as we did last year.
Yeah, or the previous 2 years.
Yeah, the previous 2 years. The first year was kind of a last-minute thing. Last year, I think we slaughtered it completely.
And this year, we got slaughtered. But, hey, you roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches, and you respond in kind. You do what you can, and you keep moving forward. This is one of my joys. I really enjoy this. And we're not making promises. It's something me and Al just talked about. Not making promises about what we're going to be up to, what we're going to do. But we also guarantee that we're not giving up. We're not throwing in the towel. Because we enjoy this.
Ooh, that Gin Ricky got me right here.
Right in the jowls, right in the Welch sacks.
Yeah.
But we realize everyone has to go to work tomorrow, so we don't want to keep you guys up too late.
Right.
We lucked out last year. It was on a weekend. So this year, Tuesday night, it's going to be a little bit rough for some people on Wednesday. So, from me and Al,
we're throwing in the towel. Good night. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah.
And have a good Wednesday.
Have a good Wednesday. And try to get back on the horse. Anyhow, good night. No, stop streaming. Hit the